Bonny, Itsekiri and Ijo, dem no just be neighbors, dem be business rivals. And the trade house war for Delta started back for early 1800s. The rivalries and trade fights of that time shape how power and wealth waka for Niger Delta today. If you sabi history well, you go understand why some things never change. We fit here say for Niger Delta, the Ijaw people, especially Bonny and Ishekiri, they do trade with Europeans. Dem dey buy and sell palm oil, slaves, forest produce. But most people talk about just a small part of that history. It sounds simple. Trade was good. They were rich. But the deeper story na different gbege. Rivalry, power, credit system, and inter-ethnic struggle. By early 1800s, the transatlantic slave trade been dey reduced. Many Niger Delta polities begin to shift from slave trade go legitimate commerce, especially palm oil. For Bonny, Ijo, also called Ibani, dem get many canoe houses. These were big trading families or houses wey also get war canoes. For Ishekiri, Warri area, dem be middlemen. According to Cambridge historian P.C. Lloyd, by 1800, Ishekiri kingdom gets strong centralized government and dem use their position to move goods between the interior, that is Urobo and Isoko, and the Europeans. Ishekiri merchants dey collect goods like cloth, guns, spirit, mirrors from Europeans on trust, that is credit. Dem go send those goods to local producers in the riverine interior and collect palm oil back. For Bonny, internal tension dey among the trade houses. These houses no be only business, dem also form power blocks, war canoe blocks. According to Martin Lane, these factional rivalries na major factor for how British colonial power later exploit them. Some houses were too powerful, some small. The king, Amayanabo, dey try maintain balance, but the houses fight for trade routes, European favor, and war canoes. Meanwhile, Ishekiri power rise under big traders. One of the most famous na Nana Olomu. He became governor of the Benin River, Ishekiri, and built strong trade monopoly. But his power no last forever. British begin intervene. According to Ishekiri social history by P.C. Lloyd, Ishekiri political change and their structure linked directly to trade, especially as slaves decline and palm oil rise. Also, geography matter. According to researchroom.com, Ijaw subgroups dey use river routes, creeks to trade, but sometimes block those routes. Some Ijaw groups were even labeled as pirates by Europeans because of this disruption and raiding of canoes. Dem dey fuel tension between Ishekiri middlemen and Ijaw traders. And the credit system, trust, was not always peaceful. If Ishekiri traders advance goods to producers, but producers fail to deliver enough palm oil, conflict go happen. Sometimes Ishekiri merchants seize consignments intended for other Europeans when debt was not settled. That kind of rivalry sharpen economic competition. But the real twist be say, these rivalries no just stay for trade. Dem shape who become king, who lose power, who form new states. This fight for trade houses no be play. E deeply affect politics, power, and identity for Niger Delta. For Bonny, the internal factionalism weakened state cohesion, make them vulnerable to British manipulation. For Ishekiri, the trade monopoly made people like Nana Olomu very powerful. But when the British came in, them dethroned them eventually. For Ijaw people, especially riverine houses, the fight for trade and control, they shape group identity and sometimes sow seeds of division. Long term, these systems help lay foundation for later colonial control. Houses, war canoes, and trade factions become tools for colonial powers. Emotionally, the legacy dey painful. E show how wealth and trade divide the people, but also how our ancestors dey fight for dignity, power, and autonomy. Wetin shock pass, Nana Olomu, one of the richest Ishekiri traders, was exiled by the British. Yes, a trade king wey build in power from the palm oil trade. British had to remove him. This one na clear sign say the rivalries wey start inside the Niger Delta dey bigger than business. Dem waka into politics and the empire. Abeg, if you dey enjoy dis story so far, drop am for comment make I know whether you wan make we do more of dis deep dive history gist for archive gist. How you feel as you dey hear say trade rivalry from 1800s still dey affect Niger Delta today? One last thing, dis story did not finish just with Bonny and Itsekiri. There is another move, a breakaway movement that changed everything. E go shock you. Dat breakaway movement na Jaja of Okpobo. Even though e no come from Itsekiri by birth, he was a slave, but he rose for Bonny house, the Ana people. In 1869, Jaja break from Bonny because of house rivalry, found Okpobo kingdom, and control palm oil trade routes. So all the trade power shift, not just business, but real political power. If you like this history gist, kindly follow this page, share this post with your friends. We dey do real research to bring these forgotten stories back. And if you get story wey dey inside your own area wey people dey overlook, drop am for comment. We fit research am next.